Oh, there we
Hello,
go.
ladies. It's Anita here from Sequins and Sand and the founder of Women 40 Plus Self Love, Body Love, Summer Confidence. If you are joining us through that group, it's lovely to have you here. It's also lovely to have this gorgeous woman next to me here today. This is Maria. Say hi, Maria.
Hi, everyone.
Maria has been a great Cosy Confidence crew member for some time now, having done a few campaigns with us. And I love this woman so much because, Maria, you have a big heart and also you are brave in that you are quite happy to share your life experience, your Cosy Confidence experience, and also your body confidence journey. And for that, I really commend you. You need to know that it's amazing what you do, and that you're incredible for doing it. So please know that.
Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you.
It's from the heart. And girls, we are so blessed to have Maria talk with us today. I know that she's going to be sharing so many gems. Her story might be similar to yours. And that's our hope, is that you know that if it is similar to how you've experienced or how you're feeling now, that you're not alone, and that it's possible. It's possible to feel better in your body, about your body, and to do all the things that you want to do, summer and beyond. Now, it's my turn to be quiet. I'm going to hand over to Maria. Maria, tell the girls a little bit about you.
All right. I'm 42, about to turn 42. And yeah, as Anita said, I've been part of the Cosy Confidence crew for the last 3 years. I've gone through a lot of changes to my body in my lifetime. So I grew up as an overweight kid. Um, I have always been pretty much the big kid and have always, yeah, felt shame about my size, particularly once I got into my mid 20s. By the time I was 25, I was already a size 26. Um, I tried every diet under the sun. In my mid 20s, I over exercised and got rid of 40 kilos and got down to about a size 16. Then I met my ex-husband and put on all the weight again and more and got happy and all of that. Um, and in the meantime, I've yo-yoed with weight and for a while there, I always thought about doing something about it. But in the end, I decided I just had to be confident at the size that I was. So, from 25 really to about 35, 36, I was the size 26. And just what I decided was that I wanted to be known as that I wouldn't feel judgment of people of being big or whatever, that people would go, oh, there's Maria. Yeah, she always looks nice. She always presents herself well. So I didn't own a pair of tracky pants because I didn't want that judgment of being like lazy. So I always was known, I curated my style and spent hours on it so that I would be viewed as generally on trend. Um, or like a classical sort of style because they were the things that you could buy in plus sizes. And so, but always that people would go, she's very well dressed. And I would spend a lot of time and money on that. And that gave me confidence with my body so that if I looked good, I felt good. And so, therefore, even though I might not like different parts of my body, um, that I would at least look good. And then a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, I decided to have gastric bypass surgery after my mum died very suddenly from a heart attack. She was 72. And so that really, I just thought, what are you doing? As an 18-year-old, you would have done anything, diet pills, surgeries, whatever, to lose the weight. Um, we were having trouble conceiving, and the doctor very bluntly just said, it's your weight, and you will potentially die during pregnancy if you do fall pregnant at your size. Yeah, I know. It's a bit
Wow,
scary. He
that's
did
a big
well
wake-up
on the
call.
scare tactics, Anita. And so I had the surgery and I've worked really, really hard to take off 70 plus kilos. And so now I've been about a size 16 for pretty much the last 2 or 3 years. Anita, you see my sizes. It's been about the same. Um, but lots of toning, and now I have discovered yeah, a real joy in terms of exercise and how that helps with me in terms of both my self esteem and mental health. So, yeah, it's been quite the journey of ups and downs,
Mm.
as many women would know in terms of having the smaller wardrobe and the large one. I still can't get rid of some of my size 26 stuff because I know how hard it was to find a hot pink trench coat in a size 26 and it looks good. And you never know. I don't ever want to go back there, but if I ever happen to need it, I've got it.
That's
So I
interesting
can
too.
it's
Yeah,
one of those
right.
things that, yeah, I can identify with having multiple wardrobes of different sizes and things.
Yeah, yeah. And something we talked about just prior to coming on today, just to sort of, get a bit of a sense of how we were going to roll,
Mm,
was um, you mentioned that you don't focus so much on the size
yep, yep,
anymore, and
absolutely. Yeah.
it is about the shape, and that's a message that I'm very passionate about, because
Mm,
I see so many women have these conversations where they go, I just, if I lose 5 more kilos, then I'm going to buy a good swimsuit.
yeah.
Well, hello, what is that about? And maybe
Yeah,
you can talk
exactly.
about that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I just,
absolutely. I
what
mean,
is that about?
you've only got one life to live. And so for me, I think, um, you know, you know, have the piece of cheese or whatever, but just live your life and enjoy it. And that includes spending money on, a nice pair of togs or swimmers, or a nice dress that's going to make you feel good. Why keep things for good? Even, yeah. So I don't understand that. I just think if you want or need a pair of togs or you need a pair of jeans, then go and get the ones that you like and that fit you and flatter you. Um, I'm very much a triangle shape or a pear shape. I've got very large hips and thighs, and I have just learned that the fit and flare dress is for me. The wide leg pants and plazo pants are for me. And yeah, in the early 90s, when it was all about like the waist skinny and the tiny stick thing sort of jeans, they're not going to suit me. But I decided, rather than feeling not shame, but just that I couldn't fit in or I couldn't be fashionable, that I would find other things that would, um, help me feel as though I fit in from a sort of that sort of fashion perspective. And everyone always wants to feel like that they look good or feel confident. So I was always like, okay, well, what other things can I do to make me feel better about that? Because I can't change my shape. Like it is my shape. And I'm proud of my shape because I look at all the women in my family and we've got the same shape. So
Yeah.
it shows that I belong to that group of women who are all strong and independent and smart. And so why would I like want to change that or feel shame from that? So I actually try and flip around my way of thinking. And it's the same with my legs. I will have, even now, as Anita knows, when we do fittings for swimwear, sometimes there was one set last year that you're like, oh, I'm not sure this is going to get over your thighs, Maria. I went, yeah, I don't know about this one. And sometimes, and
And
that's
that's
nothing
okay.
on my body. It's just not
Mhm.
for me. So
Exactly.
but I've had plenty of times, and Anita, when I first met you, so I was size 26 going on holidays and needed togs and couldn't find any anywhere. And somehow you popped up in my Instagram or probably Facebook, I reckon. And I was like, oh, I'll go here. And, because shopping online wasn't working for me. So it was really, a hard process to find the togs that fit and flattered. And yeah, I was in near tears about it, but we persevered and we knew that there was the one for me. And luckily, I was in at that time your pop up store that you had. So I could sort of go through and try everything on and be
Mm.
picky about things or say, I know you said that's not going to suit me, but I really want to try it on. And you were very
Mhm.
gracious to let me, and then go, oh, yeah, that doesn't. And, I do call you the Cosy Conference Whisperer, because confidence whisperer, because as soon as I rock up, you'll say, oh, that's going to look really good on you. That's perfect for your shape. And I go, but I really like, you know, the bandeau, that looks really pretty on so and so. And you're like, that's not for your shape. Like, and now I've done that, and I realize that because I understand my shape more and how that works with swimwear. But I think
Mhm.
for me, that whole sort of thing around self-esteem is so linked to how I feel about my body.
Mhm.
So in years gone by where I've had really, really low self-esteem, and I've, felt shame about my body or who I am, that I really sort of look to the positives of what my body could do and give to me. So
Mhm.
I really thought
Mhm.
about um, I've always loved my shoulders for some reason. They're just shoulders. Don't ask me why. And I think it's from as a kid, I used to do swimming. So my
Yeah.
shoulders probably looked a bit toned
Powerful.
then. So I
Yeah.
always liked my shoulders. And so even when I was big, I would always try and look at myself in the mirror and really look at myself and go, look at you, how nice your shoulders are, or what a beautiful smile you have, or just something in the mirror positive to really help build up my self esteem.
Mm.
And as I
Mm.
did that more and more, I felt better about my body. Um, and I think sometimes too, it really depends on other people that you're with. Like
Mhm.
I remember as a teen, all of my friends were ashamed of something. So they all wore boardies. Like it wasn't oh, we'll just wear boardies because we're active. It was probably that they didn't like their legs and that type of thing. And I had a friend that would always wear a t-shirt in the surf and stuff,
Mhm. Mm.
um, because she didn't like her body and that type of thing. For me, I realized very quickly when I went into the surf, well, a t-shirt adds a lot of extra weight, and so it's not very
Mhm.
fun in the surf. So I got rid of that,
Not
and then I was
practical.
like, and it doesn't look good. And we've got plenty of beautiful swimmers that we can wear, but then also now, um, I was like, oh well, will I wear the board shorts? And in the end, I was like, no. Why do I want to? Like, why am I doing this? Because I feel that
Mm.
other people are ashamed of their body, and so
Mm.
therefore
Mm.
I will, because
Mm.
I've got, if not worse thighs than them. But in the end, I was like, no, as I was saying to you earlier, Anita, my legs get me to where they want to go. And I'm proud of them, even though they might be really big thighs and big legs. They get me to where I want to go. They keep me standing. They're strong. And I just move on with that. Like,
Yeah.
why should I feel shame about that? Why should I feel bad? I just want to feel happy about myself, and life's too short.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why stay feeling like that? Just I feel like acknowledge, as my psych would say, acknowledge that feeling
Mhm.
and move on.
And move
Discard
on.
and move on.
Yeah. We've raised so many points there. My mind's going,
Oh my god, yeah, I know. I just talk a
but I
mile a
love it.
minute.
So if we could just go back and maybe tease out a couple of those things.
Okay.
You said that you went from a point of shame when you were
Yep.
much younger. You felt the judgment,
Yes.
and but what you did was you came to a point where you went, okay, I know I need to change. I need to
Yep.
change how I feel about myself and my body
Yep.
and the impact that that's having on my life. So you said you looked in the mirror and that you
Yeah.
would pretty confronting, I'm sure. And
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So
can we talk about how old you were then,
mhm.
and how the feelings that you had then, Maria?
Yep.
Because at that turning point, you have a choice. Like,
Yep.
as much as we love, um, you know, embracing everybody and telling women that they're beautiful, because I firmly believe we are
They
each
are.
beautiful. We
Yep.
are all beautiful. There's that kind of that helps, but in my experience, if you want to really feel that long lasting change, you've got to dig deeper and you've got to look
Absolutely.
towards yourself, and that's
Mhm.
hard, right?
Yeah,
In a world
absolutely.
where
Yep.
we have Netflix binges and we let's face it, we drink, we party, we do all sorts of things to
Mm,
distract us from what's lying and giving us the root
yeah,
cause of those negative
yeah,
feelings.
absolutely.
It just talk to me a bit
So
and tell us a little bit more about that point and what you did.
yeah, yeah. So I was in my early 20s, probably about 22 or 23. I all of my weight stuff and self-esteem is linked to my mum. So, and
Right.
she's very our whole family are quite big, and she was probably a size 14 most of her life, and she would say to me, Maria, I will eat lettuce so that I am this size, or so that I am
Mm,
this weight. So she had, and in my early 20s I moved away from home and realized how disordered
mm,
that was, and so we had a lot of conflict because at that stage, let's
mm,
say I was a size 22 or a 24, based on my age, easy to remember. Um, and that, and so I would say to her, I don't care. I'm beautiful. I'm lovable. You know, you take value on your size and on weight, and I don't. I'm a good person. I've got a good career. I'm smart. I'm a good
mhm,
friend and a good family member. And so it was part of that I had to deal
mm,
with. And so I did a lot of, I guess, research around that sort of self help stuff about not getting value from her approval and looking to
right.
myself around how I felt. So it's quite ironic though that her heart attack then made me lose, like, helped me make the change to have gastric bypass surgery too. Like, and that, I finally did get skinny, and everyone says, "Oh, your mum would be so proud of you." And I'd be like, "Yeah." She'd be like, "Oh, yeah, finally." And then I go, I don't care how she feels about it, because actually I'm proud of me for,
Yes.
being having a better relationship with food, number one, and exercise and all of that. Yeah. Anyway, it's not a competition. Um, but I really, so in my early 20s, I read a lot of books, and there was an exercise that sort of said, sit naked in front of the mirror, sit or stand naked in front of the mirror for at least a minute, and look at yourself, really look at yourself in your heart, but look at your body as well, and find something that um, brings you like joy, or that you like. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that you love. And so it was an exercise that you kept doing, and to sort of say to yourself and to repeat, the things that you were able to find. And so at times it would be really confronting because you're sitting there naked, and
Mm, mm,
um it's very easy, and our bodies are almost trained to find the faults before they look for the good things. So even the fact that, so at times I would get so desperate to say, I love my hands because they will hold someone else's hand.
mhm.
Or, I love my heart because it's open and loves other people. Or I'd go the desperate, oh, you've got a really nice smile. Oh, I've got nice teeth, because some days are harder than others. But I did it, and it really did actually help me feel better about my body and feel confident in my body. Where by the time I got to my mid 20s, I was like, this is me, take it or leave it.
Right.
Um,
That
I look good,
acceptance.
Nate. Yeah, I accept
Yeah.
this. I look good in clothes, and I will always, and that was a thing that I wanted for my self esteem, that if you looked good, you felt good. So I always wanted to look good in clothes. So, I made sure that I had nice clothes, and like not expensive things. People would say to me, "Where'd you get that from?" And I'd be like, "Oh, Target." But you didn't really. It was hard to find, and I found the best, and all of that. So yeah, I really looked inwards, and it was a real practice thing that I'm not one of those people to really do things every day like this. It's not in my nature. I'm sort of flitting about doing all sorts of things. So even doing my physio each day can be difficult to do. So, but I
Mhm.
really sort of spent time on this because I did notice that it was helping me feel better
Helping.
about myself and be confident. So
Yeah.
by the end of it, I was like, I'm awesome. Just ask me.
Just
I'll
ask
tell
you.
I'll
That's
tell
so
you.
good, Maria. That's so good. But can appreciate bloody hard to do, right?
It
That's
was
that's
really hard
physically
and so
confronting. Yeah.
confronting to look at yourself naked.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
but it was really important to me to feel better about myself and recognize myself both um, inside and out.
Yeah, and that's another good point. So I loved, interesting to hear that you made a conscious effort to hunt down the clothes. It was almost like, not, it might have been an armor in a bit
Oh,
of
it
a
totally
way.
was an armor.
It was your armor, right? But your armor was
Absolutely.
protecting you whilst you, is it
Yeah,
fair to say your armor was protecting you whilst you learnt to love the
absolutely.
inside more?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think too, so at any size, I think people feel like they're always being judged or
Judged.
evaluated about how they're looking or what, even yeah, if you're big or small or whatever. Like, so I've got skinnier friends that are always like, oh, people are always saying I'm too skinny or whatever. Um, Whereas for me at that size, I was like, oh, people are, sort of thinking, oh, she's lazy, she's not doing any that type of thing. So, and I didn't want that. So, um, yeah, I made sure I didn't have tracky dacks. So I didn't have that judgment of being lazy sort of thing that I was at home doing nothing. I never owned tracky dacks until like maybe 2 years ago.
But do
Um,
you think that I'm going to ask you something quite personal now. Do
yeah,
you think that when you see somebody else
no,
in that now?
no, not
So
at
isn't
all.
that interesting that you don't judge somebody else on her looks and in her tracky dacks, but for
But that's taken
you,
a
you
long
thought,
time, Anita, too, because
right,
I think as women, we will always look at other people and go, "Oh, I like that top," or whatever. So sometimes, and so I always, I used to be like, "Oh, why is she wearing that?" And that's, in my early 20s where I was very judgmental about people, but also that sort of body positivity hadn't really come in as much. And so I've learnt along the way as well. And so now, if I saw a girl in the lift this morning as I was coming back from the gym, and she looked just really, really nicely put together and really lovely outfit and was obviously heading off to the office. And I was like, you look awesome. You've got a really lovely outfit on today. And so now I will tell people. And if there's someone that's got something that I'm like, I want to know where that's from, I'm going to ask them. I'm going to say, you look really good, or I love that. So, but I have really tried to practice myself in terms of judgment, that I'm not judging others like I felt that people were judging me. So,
yeah, you were kind of
and
probably
so
maybe mirroring how
I
you
think
were
so.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 definitely. If I felt that I was being judged, I probably was judging others at the
judging
same
others.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
But so I really wanted just people to, it was definitely an armor, but I mean,
Mm.
what woman doesn't put on a dress that makes her feel good on a day when she might need it?
Yeah,
So, you know,
yeah,
for me, fashion is a tool in terms of self expression and
yeah,
all of that. But it's also fun. But it can be an armor. And certainly for me within the workplace, I will wear my favorites on certain days when I need them. And I know that I'm
yeah.
going to need them.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Like I always put on the bright red lippy if I need a
Yeah.
power lift, and I find that that just gives me the elevation that I need to
Yeah.
step up and do something. And it doesn't mean that that's my number one driver is that I look
Mm,
good with red lipstick. No, it's just a
yeah.
psychological lift up that
Yeah.
does help.
Oh,
And I think
absolutely.
too, when through all of that, you've probably developed your personal style. So, as
Mm.
whilst it's been an armor, I can appreciate that maybe in experimenting with all different cuts and colors and prints and all sorts of things, would you say that in all of that experimenting you've become to understand you more, or is that
Oh,
being quite flippant?
no, I've definitely come to understand me more. And also, I almost had to reevaluate it once I lost weight. So, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
as a size 26, you've got limited options in terms of fashion. I was so grateful to find sequins and sand so that I could get nice togs rather than getting stuff from the US, which may or may not fit, and that type of thing. Um, Even in stores, you've got City Chick and a few other places that, yeah, they say that they stock it, but you've still got to order it online. So I really felt quite limited in my style
Mhm.
because it was only
Right.
what's
Limited
available. At least,
availability. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. At least now, God, you've got the Iconic and so many other places, and not saying it's easy, but at least there's a few more options.
More
And certainly as
options.
a
Yeah.
teenager, I had
Mm,
nothing. Like,
mm,
um, I begged the girls in year 12 to have a plus size section in the year 12 fashion parade. I was like, come on, and I was only like a size 18, and they're
wow.
all
Yeah.
twigs at size 10 and stuff.
Yeah.
See, there's my judgment. I twig because I really
Yeah, that's
wanted to
it.
be a,
We have
I
to catch
really wanted
ourselves.
I really
Yes.
wanted to be a size 10, and doing the fashion parade. Oh my God, I would have done anything to be in the year 12 fashion parade. Anyway, and hello to the girls that are watching because I know that they will and they follow me. And I love you. um, and so they're
Yeah.
like, nah. And because there really wasn't much plus size stuff that you could do. And
Mm,
I really sort of, my style has changed as fashion has become more available. But certainly once I lost the weight after my gastric bypass, I was like, well, who am I now? I've
yeah.
gone from having
Mm,
a limited fashion choices, and now, like, I went a bit crazy when I could go to anywhere at Chermside and I could buy whatever. I was just going in and go, oh, it's on sale, I'll buy it, it fits. And then later on I was like, but do I really like it? Is
yeah.
this
Is it
me? And
me?
that's
Is it
right.
me?
And
Yeah.
so I certainly have developed my style, but I would say I'm still a fairly I'm a classic. I like classic sort of stuff with a bit of boho and a bit of romantic sort of stuff in there a bit
Mhm,
as
mhm.
well. Um, love a sequin. So, but I mean, who doesn't? But yeah, so and now I've also appreciate different things about my body and that I'm confident about my body. So, as I was saying before, I love my shoulders. So I will wear an off the shoulder top and I will wear like a halter neck. And so I think as my shape has changed, I've then adjusted my fashion choices, but also my body confidence has changed a little bit as well because um, my body has changed. And so I'm confident about different things.
Mm. So how would you say, it sounds like you were very much locked down and
Mm.
restricted when you
Oh,
felt
yeah.
that way about your body, and then yourself.
Yeah.
We often talk about it like it's this other being, right? That it's not part of
Mm.
who we are, but maybe that's part of the journey too, is bringing the two together. So
I
you
think
don't
it
talk about
definitely
it
is.
like it's this parallel thing that's
Yeah,
next to
yeah.
you, right? It's
It's
actually
it's
you.
it when it merges to be part of you and that you're happy
Mm.
with you. In my mid-20s, I went traveling overseas. So I had 8 weeks traveling Europe, and as you do, um, and I was a size 26 then at the time, and the different things you might need while traveling, an overcoat and all of that. And I realized that I could get that, and I did, but that it was me, that I wasn't ashamed of taking up space on a plane seat. I did know that I would, and I paid extra to get an aisle where you had extra leg room and that I could get the extender and all of that. So there's the practical things about being confident about your
Mm,
shape, but also then there's just the embracing of it. So
mm,
I could
mm,
do both the practical, but then also just going, no, this is me. Take it
mm.
or leave it. I'm not going to feel bad about taking up the space that I am. This is me and who I am. So
And I'm
I
not
think
gonna
that
miss out on traveling, those wonderful
that's right.
experiences.
I am
Yeah.
going to Paris or Ireland, and I'm going to enjoy it. And I did. I did the gondola. So previously, I would have been like, oh no, I'm not going to get in the gondola. I'm going to tip that, like with
Mm,
my
right.
weight and all of. I wasn't going to let. And so I think that trip really helped me crystallize that I
Mm,
could do things. I could
mm,
I was quite active and did particular things on that trip. There was like a mountain I climbed in Ireland. I'm sure it wasn't that big because I don't think Ireland's that hilly. But I was like, no, I'm
yeah,
going to do this. I'm not going to let
yeah.
my body keep me back. And also celebrate that my body is able to do these things.
Do it.
And
Yeah.
and that's part of that body confidence in terms of going, no, I can do this. I mean, that's not to say, people would know. Yesterday I tried to do a 5K run, um, sort of more of a joggy sort of walk, but I got it done.
Gave
And
it a
through it,
go.
I'm going, oh, I hate this. This is so hard, you know. my lungs, God, it hurts. But I'm like, no, keep going. You can do this. You can do this. It's literally one step after the other. And if you walk
Mm.
a bit, you walk a bit, whatever. But it really is that change in mindset rather than going, oh, you're so shit, you can't do 5Ks. It was, no, you can get there. You can walk this. You can run it. Just do
How
little
did you
bits step
feel at
by
the end?
step. Oh,
How did
of
you feel at
course.
the end?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. As
Yeah.
as you do. But that's the thing. You've got to the negative Nancy, or that's who I call my negative person, negative Nancy.
Right.
You've got to ignore negative Nancy and just move on. You can hear her and just go, yep, see you later, and then move on because you will feel better after you do something. And, um, you know, we all have our moments of self
Mhm.
doubt. It's how we deal with those moments of self doubt. That's my opinion because really, um, and it's taken a long time to be able to go, oh, okay, yeah, I hear that. That's a bit of doubt creeping in, but what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
Nah,
And
I
you'll have those micro decisions
yeah,
daily, won't you?
oh,
So
absolutely, yeah,
yeah, but it's all about making a start and
mm,
making a choice to make the change and then
yeah,
committing to those micro decisions along the way. And like you say, every day is not going to be, easy. And some days are going to feel
mm,
like you can't do it,
yeah,
or you won't do it. And that's fine too. Don't berate
mm,
yourself when you have those
yeah,
days. But it's very much that. And you also talked about something else then that I thought was really important. And it was like you proved to yourself, like you said, I'm not gonna hold back. You
mm,
made the choice to get on the plane, to pay what you had to
yeah,
do to feel comfortable on the
yeah,
plane, and you did what you wanted to do. And now you've got photographs, I'm sure, of those experiences, and you've got
yeah,
that proof. And
yeah,
what I find working with swimwear, right, which I didn't realize when I first started 12 years ago, is that I thought I was just selling swimsuits. But
no,
what I'm selling is it's this key, it's this permission, number one, to be
yep,
able to do something. And it's the proof. When you've got a photograph of yourself in cozies, as you well know, because you've
yep,
been front and center for a few years now, it's that proof. It's
hmm,
also proof to say, I can do it, I've done it. How awesome am I? And
yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
the seemingly simple piece of clothing, is actually so much more. And that's why we do what we do.
Anita, I would go one further and say you sell the experience because the little one piece that you've got there with the little shoulders behind you, that for me, I think of that as my snorkeling togs. Not the black one, that sort of thing.
Ah,
They're my snorkeling
right,
togs because
right.
with that enabled me to go snorkeling. Or the first pair of togs that I bought are the family holiday that, I actually enjoyed because I had togs and that I felt comfortable and I love those togs. I've still got them. I mean, they're a size 26. They're never
You
going to
make me
fit.
cry. So good.
But do you know what I mean? It gave me the opportunity to have that holiday. It was the last one with my dad. I didn't know that at the time, but like just
Yeah,
those experiences and those memories. And that is why I think cozy confidence and body positivity is so important to me because I don't want to see women at the sidelines and I don't want them to feel unhappy about themselves. I want them to love their life and enjoy the experiences. And I don't want them to be on the sidelines. I don't want
mm,
them to miss out. And that's so important. I guess because I know how I felt and now how I feel, it's just amazing. Because you can live life and you have fun and you don't feel sort of weighed down by either your own judgment or what you think other people are judging. You actually, yeah, live your life and enjoy it. And so,
yeah.
yeah,
Life is there for the living, absolutely. And
it
we
is.
had a recent reminder here in Australia, with Shane Warne, who was this
Yep.
larger than life figure, cricket figure, for those who don't follow
Mm,
cricket. But he was such a great Aussie larrikin that so many
mm.
people, even if we didn't know him, we felt a connection with him. And those
Yeah,
people
yeah.
were there,
He
right?
was just
You know,
so genuine. Like,
yeah,
I love
heart
the fact that
attack,
he was
52.
I was a really picky eater, and when I heard about, like, the baked beans on, like, a cricket tour or something because he didn't like all the curries and stuff, and I was like, "Yep, that would be me." I was only talking to a friend yesterday. I'm such a picky eater, I'm terrible. I've got much, much better, but yeah, just sometimes I let that sort of thing stop me from enjoying holidays because I was like, oh no, I won't really like their food. I won't go there, that type
Mm.
of thing. Or yeah, so and the same, that I thought, oh, I don't know about this, holiday. Will I be able to do things? And as I've become more confident, I've gone, no, I, I deserve a holiday just as much as anyone else. And one of the things that I was going to say to you, Anita, is I think it is those micro decisions, but it's also about flexing that muscle. So
Right.
each time you're flexing your body confidence muscles. So when I was bigger, one of the things about discovering my body and being more grateful about my body was I used to, and I was like doing sort of little diets here and there, but as a reward, every sort of 6 weeks or so, I would go and have a massage. And
Mhm.
as I was having the massage, I would, um, I would remind myself that um, of the things in my body that were feeling good and that sort of thing. So um, I really use those massages as a way to feel better about myself, feel better about my body, and really flex that muscle until it became more automatic.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's really powerful too. So, Maria, you've talked about so many things to help us along the way, and I know you've got to head off and go
No,
and
you're
do
right.
something else now. No, it's all
It's all
good.
good. I
Honestly,
just delayed my meeting.
girl, she's giving up her work meeting time to chat with us. So, thank you, Maria. But there's a lot that we can take from this chat in terms of
Yeah.
practical tips, what
Mm,
you've done to move from that shyer girl who held back for lots of different reasons to this beautiful woman who
yeah.
is owning who she is, who's not holding back, who is embracing life
Mm.
and squeezing every last joyous
Every last
moment
ounce.
from it.
Well, as the Shane Warne thing says, you've just life is short. You've got to enjoy it. And that's not to say, your little summary there at the end makes me sound as though, it's always
A bed of
amazing.
roses. Mm.
Yeah, and it's not. I have my doubts just as much as anyone else. And, in the last year, I joined a different gym and it was all young people and they're all so fit. And that really shook my confidence because I'd gone from a gym where I was like strong and fairly, good at what I did. And then I was like, oh, this is a whole other ball game. So it's really yet again squeezing that muscle and making sure that you are confident in what you're doing. And it's okay to have those little bits of self-doubt.
Right.
I was telling you, I think I messaged you a few weeks ago, about I saw a photo of myself at the beach and I was like, oh, I don't look like that, do I? That looks terrible. And then I looked at myself and I said to my bestie who took the photo, I was like, why did you take that photo? And she's like, you're in your bikini, you're really comfortable, you're relaxed, and you just looked like you were really happy.
Have a good
And
time.
and
Yeah.
I was having a good time. And I was like, and that's why I asked her. I was like, oh, I hate this photo. And I'm going to post it up. I haven't done the
Okay.
post, but I'm going to do it today. But I was like, oh, look at my legs. And in the end, I stopped myself and I was like, no,
Mm.
look at her
Mm.
interpretation of it. She
Mm.
was like, you just looked so happy and
Very
peaceful.
happy.
Like, you can't even see my face in it. So I'm like, oh, this is just, what a
Right.
photo. But she was like, no, you're in your bikini, you're really comfortable and you're relaxed and happy. And she was like, it was lovely to see. And I was like, see, I need to see it from other people's eyes and how they're interpreting it rather than listening to negative Nancy
Yeah,
who's saying.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
and I think that that's important, that we need to remind ourselves that we don't, the negative thinking is actually just, you've got to try and stop that and just flex that muscle, and eventually it becomes more automatic, and you do feel better about things.
Absolutely. Yeah, it becomes part of who you are. And
Yeah, it becomes
yeah,
more automatic, and
more
yeah,
than
and you truly believe it. And yeah, I'm
that.
glad
'Cause
to have got to this point.
Yeah, and you should be really, really proud. You know, you've done a lot of work to
Yes.
get to that
Yeah.
point. It's
Yeah,
not
I
been an
have.
easy journey, and you need
No.
to acknowledge that as well. You know,
Mm.
you've put in the work, because that's it. You reach a point. You know, it's that choice. And some days we move forward, some days we move sideways, backwards. But at the end of the day, we have a choice each and every
Yeah.
day to get up. What's my choice today? Am I going to move forward? Am I going to
Yeah.
stay on the sidelines? What am I going to do? Because life's short,
Exactly.
right? Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
That's right. Life is too short.
Life is too short. Well, on that, thank you, Maria. I have thoroughly loved our conversation. There is so much in that. There is lots of gems, and I'm going to sit and listen to it again and again and take those gems out, and we're going to share them and we're going to put them out there, because really other women need to hear this. They need to hear your story to know that if they're feeling that way, that it is possible to break through and to not hold back and to live the life
Totally.
that they want to. Yeah, I think that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Love
you.
your
Thank
work,
you for
love your
having
big
me.
bits. Have a great day, and
Thank
I'll
you.
see you on the lines, I'm sure. Thanks so
Yeah,
much.
definitely.
Thanks for
See you,
joining us,
Anita.
ladies.
Bye.
Bye.